Ja. Ja. Nee, lass erstmal noch hier liegen, bis dann die Fragen losgehen.
Ja, stimmt, genau.
Eins, zwei, drei, vier.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to thank you for joining us to the panel discussion about "And the Winner Is" how investors spend their money. We are talking about financing media projects in general, and I'd like to introduce you at first the three panelists. On my right side, it's Mark Ankner. He's agent finance and distribution, an agent from. Oops. No, don't work anymore.
Try this one.
Hello, hello. It works. It works. Yeah. So, sorry. He is Mark Ankner. He's an agent from the Finance and Distribution Division of William Morris Endeavour. As an agent in the Finance and Distribution Division of WME, Mark Ankner works to create advantageous financing packages and innovative distribution deals structures for the group finance clients and the agents' content creators. To the left side, outside, it's Paul Brett. He's director of Prescience Film Finance. Paul has worked in the media since leaving university 28 years ago. He has worked at Video Arts, Catalysts, TEN, the movie channel, Video Collection International, Paramount, and so on. Paul developed and implemented the UK exhibition and distribution strategy over a 3-year period at the British Film Institute, UK Film Council, and leaving to found Prescience with Tim Smith. Sorry, and to my left side, it's Philip Grindley. He's partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers and works in the transaction crew, providing advice to both financial investors and corporate clients investing in the entertainment and media sector. First of all, I want to ask you as the audience, is there any expert for financing media project here? Please raise your hands. No? No one? So we should keep it clear and simple. Mark, maybe you before, at the first. Could you characterize a typical case of your professional experience financing media? It's a very general question, but could you characterize the conditions in the American market financing media projects? And talk a little bit about your work.
So my job is to procure financing for our clients' projects, our writers, directors, and actors. I also represent film funds and the way they look at spending their money in the media space, but predominantly film. There's, a couple of different ways we raise money. One is through a traditional route where we're using bank financing, equity, pre-sales through foreign sales companies that put a price on individual territories as they go out to the marketplace. And then more of the less traditional route, which is what I call the emotional investment, people that are looking to get into the film space that are high net worth individuals that put equity into films.
I'd like to put the same question to Paul.
We operate in a very similar manner. The film industry is global, and so our model is based on raising money for films that will sell in the international marketplace. And Europe is particularly vibrant at the moment, and it's no offense to my colleague here, but at the moment in our books we put America in as 0. Although it's the largest market in the world, it doesn't have any money, which is unfortunate in terms of pre-buying a film for distribution.
Just to add on to what Paul said really quickly, so that you all understand, when he says the marketplace is at 0 in the United States, the distribution market in the United States is shifting drastically with technological advancement. This is not a problem, but a shift that's not only happening in the domestic marketplace, but is also happening in the European marketplace, where traditional DVD and cable deals for films are shrinking. And in the US, the digital marketplace is slowly growing, so the marketplace is having trouble keeping up, which has left a lot of distribution companies in the US hesitant to make a significant financial advance against a film when they want to purchase it.
But the same question.
Okay, I'm perhaps a little bit the odd one out here. At PricewaterhouseCoopers, we deal clearly across the whole media space, and not just film. My particular job, I'm involved in advising companies investing in typically German media companies, but it's also more of a wider European role as well. So the sort of things that we would do would be, assessing business plans, not so much particular individual projects, but more companies for other companies that are looking to acquire them. And so the sort of things that we would do would be, as I said, assessing business plans, due diligence, M&A advice, valuation of rights we would also do as well.
Could you please describe especially the German conditions for financing?
Okay, I think as Mark was saying, I think a lot of the excitement now is not so much around the content, but actually more around the technology and the distribution of that content. What we're seeing a lot of now is changes in distribution models, sort of video on demand. The DVD is sort of gradually, slowly being replaced by Blu-ray. If that ever does eventually replace it before being taken over by the digital download, let's wait and see. But I think it's a very exciting market at the moment. But essentially, I think all of the excitement is really more around the technology and the distribution than perhaps around the content.
What are the conditions in the UK?
The business is booming. There's growth in theatrical revenues, which has largely been driven by 3D, and television is growing as well. It's DVD that is plateauing and has now gone into decline, and that decline has not been rescued by DVD. So I think that the UK is pretty much the same as every other market in that those three broad parameters are in place, that theatrical is growing, TV is growing, but the physical ownership of material on DVD is declining. As both my colleagues have said, everything switches to digital. The issue is at the moment that no one can accurately project how to monetize those revenues. So there's a great deal of hesitancy in the market as we know that people are watching films digitally, but because the piracy levels are so colossal, it's not so easy to monetize those revenues as it was before.
Just perhaps add, I think in Germany, what we've seen, we have a publication called the PricewaterhouseCoopers Global Entertainment and Media Outlook. And one of the things that shows is that in Germany, the market is perhaps a little bit behind that of the US and the UK. I think people in Germany still like to buy a DVD and have it on their shelves, and they're not that yet ready for downloading something.
Thank you, Germany. You're propping up the international
propping up the
film
rest of the
market. I think the one thing that's very important to pull from this conversation as we move forward is we really can't think in generalities anymore. The marketplace is completely fragmented, and for low-budget, small niche market films, the digital marketplace is a very interesting opportunity. For 3D films and very big budgeted films obviously are still a theatrical event, and people want to go and see those in theaters. It's what's happening in between in the marketplace for the mid-range budget film, or for especially in the US right now, for the specialty and independent film, where people would go to theaters 10 years ago because they wanted to have, they wanted more character, more backstory, more of a character study in general. Now they can find that on television. So it's really being thoughtful if you're out there raising money for a film, or if you're out there directing or producing a film, to really kind of go online and look at where the marketplace is shifting, because we can speak in general terms, but that may not apply to your situation. Just something to think about.
Are there any questions from your side? Not at the moment. Okay, I'll ask later. Paul, could you please describe the role of the public subsidies and funding for financing media projects inside the UK? There's a special case about the UK Film Council and the question how the subsidies works.
Yeah, the subsidy hasn't been affected at all. There's still a 20% tax credit in the United Kingdom. However, what is being referred to by our colleague here is that the UK Film Council has been shut down and will cease to exist in March 2012.